All right, it is Friday, 27th of January 2023, and I am taking a stab at um, a little bit of looks like Family Feud going on here, quite frankly. What I have is an RTSP server on the local area network here, and the main screen, Helm, Weapon Science, Comms, and Engineering stations all are running OBS and pushing their desktops to that one server. And then here at this copy of OBS on yet another machine, I'm pulling that stream off the server and muxing it all together. I guess multiplexing, mixing, whatever you want to call it, making a mess of it. So with that said, let's fire up the game and see what happens. Okay, I've hit the start game button. You can see a little bit of lag here. I'll be curious to see if the recording indicates the lag or not. All stations have checked in. And I'm going to hit the autopilot on the main screen and let it start playing away. All right, so far so good. Based on the stats in Windows Task Manager, this is averaging about 20 megabits coming in from each of these clients. So it's 20 megabits total going into the RTSP server, and then I'm pulling 20 megabits back here. Each of these inputs is actually an M3U playlist, so this is using HLS, HTTP style streaming, so it's I don't know how tolerant it is of losing pieces, but it seems to all be keeping up quite well. The server is actually a virtual box running on an Intel i5 8th gen, so not a bleeding edge piece of hardware. It's probably hitting about 30% CPU load and using about half of its 16 gig of RAM. But it is clipping right along and adequate for what we need here. From OBS, I have multiple scenes set up. So I have one separate scene for each of the screens. I can switch between them here. We have Helm, Weapon, Science, Communications, and Engineering. And then I have what I call a main grid that puts the main screen at the upper left with the other stations wrapped around it. For some reason, I'm tending more to like this layout with the main screen in the bottom left, and then across the top, Helm, Weapons, Science, and then down the right side, Communications and Engineering. And I also have in this grid, I can swap any one of those other stations into the middle. So I can focus on Helm, Weapons, Science, Communications, or Engineering respectively, bringing them, instead of consuming the full screen, just bringing them up to the middle. Now another thing that I can do, and it's one of these, you know, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. But there's a WebSocket remote control, and from a remote web panel without actually touching the Helm client, for example, I can switch the OBS scene and, for example, enable the helm here to have its own camera turned on. I'm going to turn off the audio from the audio console for the moment here. But as you can see, there's some notable lag. I'm going to lean over within view of the helm screen. I'm speaking into a direct mic right into OBS, but what you're seeing on helm is capture after the fact, so I don't know if my voice is going to be synchronized or not. It's probably going to be several seconds off. But so now I'm going to mute my microphone and then talk directly into the helm's microphone. Hold on one moment. Let me unmute that in the OBS mix. My microphone and then talk directly into the helm's microphone. Hold on one moment. Let me unmute that in the OBS mix. All right, so now I'm talking not through this microphone, but through the microphone at the helm station. So its wide angle lens is picking me up. So I could feasibly be sitting here playing, and you're gonna both see the screen and hear what the helms person is saying. This needs some work though, because in the main screen view, every camera you turn on gets that machine's feed. So if you have them all on at once, you're going to hear everybody. Not cool. Let me go back to normal view here. Okay, I have switched the scene for helm back to just the helm itself, and I'm resuming recording on my own microphone. So there we have it, smooth switching between. Now I tried this using a free open source RTSP server, and it just couldn't keep up. It was getting very choppy audio all the time. This is actually AntMedia Community Edition, which has just enough functionality at the free tier to get done what we need to get done. The problem is that it doesn't run under Windows. It's not just a download a package and fire it up. You have to do the extra step of installing VirtualBox, loading Ubuntu 20 on it. It has to be Ubuntu 20 if you're going to use Ubuntu. It does not work with Ubuntu 22 yet. And then follow their instructions. Just follow the recipe that says this is how you install it on Ubuntu, and they have some very precise commands to type. What does not work, don't create a user AntMedia, because the installer does that for you. So I made that mistake and was blocked installing, so I had to create a different administrative user, log in as that one, delete my AntMedia user that I created, and then setup ran lickety split. I just reran setup, everything worked great. And then I exported the VirtualBox and moved it to a different laptop. Installed VirtualBox, imported the machine, booted it, and off it went, ready to go. So I'm really happy with this setup. Seems to be working great. In fact, earlier, by mistake, actually, the RTSP server was on Wi-Fi and not on Ethernet. So I've proven that my Wi-Fi access point's actually fast enough to do all this over Wi-Fi if I really had to. But at the moment, my OBS is on Ethernet and the server's on Ethernet. But all the clients are on 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So I've got a mixed network here on an Aruba 505 class access point. So some pretty sturdy hardware underneath the net. And it's all happy, and so am I. So I'm going to be documenting this recipe up a little bit more. So proof of concept is, in my opinion, a rousing success. The final bits that I'm hoping to add is a wide angle lens for the main screen as a webcam, so that you can see the entire crew at points if I want to cut over and just show the whole crew. And then if I'm actually going to get game audio as far as players playing, I think I'm going to be much better off just getting a nice Blue Yeti microphone standing in the middle of the room someplace rather than trying to use the microphones at client machines. Or perhaps just enable one or two of the laptop microphones. Or to be more specific, use a good USB conference room microphone on one of the clients and make that one of the inputs in. So anyway, this is all working. Right now I'm just doing local recording, but this could just as easily be pushing this whole mixed stream back out to YouTube or any place else. So I'm liking it. So with that, I have equipment to pack up for a LAN party. Everything passes muster here, and we are set to go. Have a good one everyone, and stay safe out there. Bye.